Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. My man Chip Darden with me as always, and talking some football with the head coach here of the Lubbock Cooper Pirates, and going to talk about a big win over Amarillo. Going to talk about a big upcoming game against Abilene at Shotwell Stadium, and this little doozy right here is becoming just a more of a throwback as the days go by. So that's where I want to start. Take me through cool look for your kids last week, all black. Take me how much planning and how much foresight and how much that has to go in, because I know that's not easy, and you try to also kind of keep it from your kids without.
Yeah, we had the uniforms since May, June maybe. So we've had those stored up to where and been trying really hard to keep those a secret. I think one kid found out about them through the other coach Darden. Somehow they were in there, and shout out to Spencer Hoagland for not telling everybody. He knew about them a few months ago.
Spencer. Okay, so he
Spencer
did.
kept his mouth
How
shut.
did
and
he
then,
know? How did he just in the wrong place at the wrong time?
He was in there, and Coach Darden forgot he was right behind him, and they were hanging right there, and he was just looking at him.
Like, ooh, what's that?
I think Coach Darden threatened him with, do not tell anybody, and. So, and then Jaden Hibbler, obviously, for the reveal, he had to, so he kept it quiet too. But the guys were really excited. That kind of stuff, for me personally, I don't really care about any of it, but it's important to kids, and I think it was neat. And then the helmet was just something that we thought about a while back, wanting to do a throwback. That was to the 90s era. I think the last year they wore it was maybe the 97 season, I want to say, that helmet, but wore that all through the 90s until they went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look after that. But so I thought that was just kind of neat. And the helmet deal is a neat deal. It's a skin that just goes on top, so it's not a brand new helmet. A much more economical way of doing that, and a little bit of a pain for the coaches to get those on and off. But it's a neat deal, and you can reuse them. It's not like they're a one-time deal. So we'll got 3 helmet choices from here on out. But I don't know the kids. I don't know if they'll choose anything other than those black ones. They like them.
Yeah, because the helmets you have are all red,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the base color of
Yep.
it right now. Yeah, so you've put the all white and then the all black on there. But anyway, it was a really cool look. I thought it was very well done. So, and I know you're right. That's one of those things where, like, coaches are like, man, you're playing the same game, but some of that stuff does matter.
Yeah, it does.
That's why everybody loves Oregon, man.
Yeah, and you want it to be fun, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
But we did say, we did all that, and then we got to our meetings, and in our meetings, I did get pretty serious with them. Hey, if we're going to do all this, we better play good. If we don't play to our level, and we're doing all this, and we need to quit doing these uniform
Earn the right to
things.
wear these again.
Absolutely. So I think they earned it.
I would agree. I would agree. And you got another fast start in this one, up 21-0. I think it was 35-13 at the half. Kind of take me through, because you scored 35 points in a half. You're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah.
But take me through kind of these fast starts, what you've had in back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah, this one was different. We took the ball, won the toss, and we took the ball. I think it's the first time since I've been the head coach that we've done that. We defer almost every time. I think we've talked about this on the podcast. I'm a little bit of a weather nerd, so new cold front was coming in.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
New cold front was coming in about halftime with 40-mile-an-hour winds, and so just thought it'd be a really tight game at the end, wanting that wind in the fourth quarter. The only way you do that, assure that, is get the ball in the first half. So anyway, we took the ball, but we had prepped all week that second play of the game, as long as we're in a good spot, was probably going to be the flea flicker. Kind of practiced it all week, and then we get a big play on the kick return, and then get a big play on first down to Sam Marcinkowski, put us in a spot where we felt good about running flea flicker. Those gadgets, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's why you got to be in a position where if it doesn't work, it doesn't kill you. You still have a drive, still have a few plays to get a first down. So worked out great. Thought Ryan threw a great ball on that one. Jackson Austin sold it well, and it was. When you 2 plays in and you're up 7-0, that's obviously a fast start. But the guys have been locked in. That was the challenge after the Wiley game, was how we lock in during the week, how we lock in our pregame, and I think they're kind of seeing the fruits of that labor. That if I do, then usually we get a fast start. And again, a fast start isn't always 2-play scores. We'd take it every time, but just successful first drive, successful first possessions on defense, and puts us in a good spot when we start that fast. We scored 35 points, but really, we felt like it should have been 42. We had first and goal at the 4 and get 0 points, penalties, and a turnover that were big and really changed the game. And that's something, without stealing some questions you might have, but I thought that was something I was most proud of our team, that had a little bit misexecution on our part. Then they bust a big play, and now it's 21-7, and kind of, it's looking like a heck of a game coming. We kind of countered, and they threw a few punches at us after we got the lead, and we kept playing and kept extending the lead. So just proud of how they took that effort from Amarillo High.
Yeah, you're living right when you're like, yeah, it was 35, but it could have been 42.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coaches that love to be talking like that. But you mentioned this. I think it's funny. Gadget play on the second play. A lot of times it's always on the first play right out of the gate. But this was second play. I like that little nuance there. And then let's talk about your quarterback a little bit. 12 of 16, I think, for 225. Probably had one throw near the end zone that he would let it have back. But otherwise, he's managing this team. He's, I think, starting to be very consistent. Yeah. And this is becoming, now it's kind of complementing what you're doing in the run game. I mean, now you're starting to see weeks on weeks on weeks, and I think he probably hadn't gotten enough credit.
Yeah, I agree.
We talk about Hibbler and Jackson a lot for good reason.
Yep.
But I think Ryan and Deaver and Kennard and Sam and all those guys in the passing game starting to show up big time.
Yeah, really are. And we talked about that we thought kind of transitioned to run some option, and how we thought it would help our passing game. And I think we're starting to see that. Us executing the option is helping us throw it a little bit more. And, Ryan, his teams, we kind of saw Amarillo High, tried to make him run it a little bit more. And he again has showed that he can do that, and we can move the chains with him running it. And, he showed the thing with Ryan is he is very – we've said it before, like his emotions are the same always. It doesn't matter. He takes all the blame. He doesn't ever try to make an excuse, but we try to get him. We talked to him a lot about having fun, and it was nice to see. I think it was Coach Schulte up in the box after that flea flicker said, "Man, I've never seen Ryan show that much emotion." He was pretty fired up, and I think that just shows his comfort level. He's getting more comfortable each week, but it was nice to see him show a little fire.
And he is starting to keep it a bit more. He just needs to make sure Alan Gant, is not chasing after him. That's one of the fastest kids in the city.
Yeah, luckily there's not a whole lot of people will play that that fast.
That Coronado game, I'm like, my gosh. And then I make the mistake on the broadcast of mentioning that he maybe was a little bit faster than Cal Ritz, and shout out to Devin Ramby who says, no, like official track times.
That's right.
Yeah, Cal Ritz is faster. But still, no, I think that is a component that's starting to open up.
Yeah.
He can keep it, and he's got a little juice in that run game. I know he's my nephew, full disclosure, but I saw you. I'm at a hotel in Temple, Texas, watching the broadcast and everything, watching you guys. You specifically talk to the team after this big win. You flipped the ball to Caden Brown. You mentioned the interception. Do you feel like that was a big momentum kind of shift at the time? Because Vinny had to come out, who we've talked about on this show a lot, and for how good he's been playing.
Yeah, it really was. And we had just scored, so emotions are high. But then Amarillo High gets the ball, and we're concerned with their offense and what they can do. And Vinny had one of the negatives of these helmets sometimes is we had a little malfunction that we had to fix. So Vinny had to come out of the game and first play in. Caden gets a pick, and it did. It was like, man, the momentum. I don't know that we've had more momentum at any point in the season than we did right then after that pick. And props to Caden. They kind of his helmet kind of fell off in the fiasco of the interception, so he got to celebrate without his helmet. And he's coming off the field, and I'm almost gonna yell at him like, "What are you doing? You're gonna get a penalty!" But it had gotten knocked off, so it was pretty cool. He was fired up.
That's good for him.
Yeah.
And the running game. We've talked a lot about Hibbler and Jackson for good reason, because they are. It's just like death and taxes, man. They're just showing up every single week. Carlile, though. Branson Carlile is starting to be added into the mix here, starting to be very a threat, and it's a different look than those other two. Take me through kind of his emergence, because it seems like he's somebody that's getting a lot more comfortable and involved each week.
Yeah, he is, and he kind of earned some of that, just how hard he's playing. In practicing, there was about 3 weeks in a row that his name came up when we're talking about scout team players of the week. I mean, when he goes and gives a scout team look, was full speed and giving a great look, and kind of earned him a few more reps on Friday nights, and then he's taking advantage of them. But he's fast. That's something. he doesn't have maybe the lateral that the other two, but he is fast, and then he's not scared to go run somebody over. So that combination makes him pretty dynamic. And again, with some of our option stuff, some of our blocking, we asked him to block a little bit more last Friday. That he did a good job, and just physical, and I think that's what he brings a physical dynamic to the backfield.
I know he's Googled Mike Allstott.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he knows who Mike Allstott is.
He might be faster than Mike, honestly.
I'd be shocked if he's not. But Mike Allstott probably outweighed him by about 60, 70 pounds too. But yeah, I mean, because I see that big old neck roll.
Yep.
And the way he runs hard, and I mean, he's a wonderful kid.
Flying chomp.
Yeah, that's right. Wonderful kid. We talked to him after the game. I know Taylor did a good interview with him after the game, and he's just so respectful and all that stuff, and appreciates where he is. Take me through that cold front. Because I've heard variations of folks going, it's like a tornado was coming in. It's like, I mean, the temperature just drops like within minutes.
Yeah.
And there's band props on the field blowing away. I mean, kind of take me through were you guys already out of the locker room when it hit?
No, we were still in, and I right before we went out, I ran into the coach's office and I grabbed my pullover. I was like, I'm gonna take this out just in case I need it, and I made it to about the end zone, and I went ahead and started putting that sucker on. The temperature dropped big time. But one thing I didn't even notice in the game, but we've got our quarterback net that we throw into that is kind of pushed up against the stands on the visitor side. At one point during a play, it rolled out onto the field and wasn't that far from the action, about 20 yards away. I've seen a picture, I think. I don't know. Somebody posted a picture of that thing blowing out there. Luckily, maybe the dads that do the tunnel ran and grabbed it and got it off in time. So it was wild. That's West Texas football right there. But I was glad for some cool temperatures. I know that, and I think our kids were too. Tired of it being so hot.
Yeah. And this was obviously a huge win. So it ends up being a 49-19 district win. It puts you 2-0 in the district. I think you're 4-2 overall, 2-0 in the district, and it sets up a big one.
Yeah.
And I mean, just it's all there is to it. The only two teams I think that are undefeated in the district, combined 5-0. Here we go, Shotwell Stadium. I want to go back to this game before we talk about what's to come on Friday night. This game last year was bizarre. Mm-hmm. I mean, ugly, hard-fought, weather-involved game. I mean, one of your most valuable players in that game was your punter.
Yep.
Just kept pinning them deep. A big, long pass play, I think at the end of the third, early fourth to Cooper Morris, which kind of busted it open a little bit. But this was a grind when you played these guys last year.
Yeah, I mean, ugly is
you'll take them.
In the eyes of the beholder,
You'll
too,
take 'em.
right?
Absolutely.
If you're a defensive coach, you loved it.
That was the broadcaster in me going, this is tough to, explain here.
Yeah.
Well, another good punt and another good punt. Yeah.
Exactly. 3 plays and a punt. We had offense. It was tough. Now, I'll tell you, Abilene High in general, every year they play great defense, and this year's no different. But that defense they had last year was impressive. I think we had 4 first downs in the game and won. And, again, the win is what matters. But, they made it really difficult on us. Our defense was just great the whole game. They were put in positions and put on the field so often and still just made plays, and just was really impressed with how our defense played. But it was a weird game. It was one of those that it felt like the Coronado game 2 weeks before that you kind of left there and went, how did we win that game? And but our kids found a way to do it, and a big play. We hadn't had success throwing it all night. I think we had only completed 2 or 3 balls up to that point, and then hit them over the top with a big one and just a perfect throw and catch. And that was big. And I think we talked about this. This year's a little bit different with the kind of the hype that Abilene High's getting, well deserved, and the year that they've had. Last year at this time, I think they were an unknown to a lot of people in our area. Had never played them. They've been 6A, but I know coaches from the day we knew what district we were in, this was a team that caught our attention. Just they are a tradition-rich program, recent state championships at the 6A level, and so it was a big win for us. I can tell you, coaches, there's a few times you might have a win and you get to that locker room, the kids are gone, and coaches are kind of almost down after a win if you didn't play great or something, and this wasn't the case. It was a big win, and we knew it, and I thought it was big for our program.
These guys, I mean, if you're a Pirate fan out there, I mean, the Eagles play hard.
Yep,
They do. They play very aggressive. They play hard, and it's not any one individual. And it reminds me of what Coach Lakeman's group is doing right now. You could point to a variety of different guys, but they just play really hard. And I think what you and I have talked about some this week is their offense is so much better this year, playing a couple different quarterbacks, including one of the fastest kids that you probably will see all year, and one of their quarterback/receiver. I think he's actually had some track times that have popped nationally when he was like a 12 or 13-year-old or something.
Yep.
He will wear number 1. It won't be hard to find him. He'll be the fast one.
Yeah, he's really good. I think one thing that stood out is their quarterback, same quarterback that they've had, and I believe from last year, but he just is. He's good. And I'm going to forget his last name.
Dylan Slack.
Slack. Mm-hmm. I was going to say Hack, but Slack. He's really good. He makes some tough throws. Been really impressed with him. He uses his feet when he needs to. So he's a challenge, and just impressed with him. And then you mentioned number 1. They'll play him at quarterback, at running back. They find, to me, they're pretty creative in how they get him the ball. But then I think something that makes them really tough is they've got a receiver, number 19, that is he's a handful, and he's one that – like he's taken, made long plays. He's taken a punt for a touchdown, and pretty explosive there. But then he makes plays, kind of like how we've seen Michael Deaver make some catches that are covered very well, and he just makes the plays. That's kind of what this number 19 can do. So all phases are tough. They're not one-dimensional. They can beat you in a lot of different ways, and then they run about 1 million formations and motions and try to get you – misaligned, and they get you misaligned, they're going to take advantage of it. So our guys got to be good, got to play some disciplined football. But, yeah, their offense is good. And to go along with how they play defense is a good combo.
Yeah, the other quarterback's name is Braden Henry. And, I don't know if 19 – I think he wore 19 way back in the day. But I know he wore that at Texas Tech. But Olaleon was a former Abilene Eagle.
That's right.
I went to Shotwell Stadium back in, this is going to be like the 04-05 time frame, and Abilene was playing South Lake Carroll.
Okay, yeah.
And both quarterbacks that played in the game would end up committing to Texas Tech.
That was Potts and
Greg McElroy.
That's right.
Yeah, and Greg McElroy would end up switching up, going to Bama. That old recruiting story, but I remember that way back in the day. But I think Lyle he may have worn number 19. But yeah, right. He's. And now coaching at Levelland. Okay, my only on-the-spot question for you this week, and then we'll get into some other stuff. What's the coaching cliche that you use the most that you wish you didn't? We all do this. We all have our crutches. And I wrote some of these like one game at a time. Yeah. We need to play for 60 minutes. We have a long way to go. There's no easy games. We need to execute. There's all these phrases that
we've mentioned a word a lot, explosiveness. Like we've talked about that. I've been pretty good. That would be one. But also, and I believe in it, but I try to find different verbiage to use, and I feel like I can't. But trust the process. Okay. And everybody says that, but we believe in what we're doing, and every day showing up, and how we, I had this talk with our freshmen after their games the other night, and just same thing. Like you show up and you do what you're supposed to do every day. But I wish I had a better way of verbalizing it than trust the process.
Make small deposits every day, and they,
There you go.
I mean, there's another way to phrase that. I don't know if
there's a million of them.
Oh, I know.
This would be a better question to ask, like either the players about me or the assistant coaches. They probably sit back there and write, yep, there it is. Put another tally.
I bet nobody notices. Okay, some things about Abilene. One, have you ever been to Abilene Zoo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I got little kids.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's a good zoo.
Because it's right by Shotwell, isn't it? Like fairly
right across
close
the street.
Proximity?
Yep.
Okay. Abilene just seems like a strange city to have a zoo.
Yeah,
like
it's a good one.
A full-fledged zoo, because it's expensive to, the whole operation, all that stuff. So anyways,
you need to go. It's got some good stuff.
Your favorite kind of Abilene-centric restaurant? There's a few of them that are semi-famous. You may have even taken the team. No, I don't know if you have or not. Which ones stick out to you? Like I'm gonna, if you're just going like, hey man, we're going on a road trip. I'm gonna stop in Abilene. I'm gonna make sure I eat at.
Yeah, I would go to Joe Allen's.
Okay, I have that one down.
That's pretty solid. And Lytle's, which same family. Those got to be 1 and 2.
And I think Lytle's is right by Shotwell.
Yeah, I'm bad with my I'm a geography type guy and a maps guy, but Abilene's a weird
I know
city
it is,
to me that I don't
you
get
ever
around
heard
it
of
very well.
the Beehive Restaurant and Saloon? It's kind of a famous thing.
Yeah, I have heard of it. I've never been.
Perini's Ranch.
Is Beehive? I thought Beehive was in Albany for some reason, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, it shows up on the Abilene
Abilene?
stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm
I
wrong,
might be
but I think
thinking of
that's right.
something else in Albany.
Did you know? We talked about Taylor Swift
Oh no,
last week. Did you know Jessica Simpson is from Abilene?
I did not know that.
I had no idea. Either. I had no idea either. And then
I'm so glad I know that now, though.
I just didn't know. That's not what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Though, that I was going to test you on. I did think this was funny as I'm doing some stuff about Abilene and all that stuff because that's where obviously the Pirates will be at. I thought this was funny. It's like 15 facts about Abilene, and it says one of these is, it is illegal to sit idle or loiter any place within corporate city limits with the purpose of flirting or mashing.
Huh.
Yeah, which mashing I guess is an old timey word for flirting too. So I guess you can't go sit in your car and
try to flirt.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, so the more you know about Abilene. Okay,
Interesting.
now for the football.
Hey, how about Chuck Yeager? You know who Chuck Yeager is?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Chuck Yeager's from Abilene, right?
See, I didn't see his name.
Really?
No,
Maybe
and
I'm
I
wrong.
was looking at athletes.
Maybe he
and
just
all,
had barbecue joint
like
there.
Tex
that I
Cobb
remember.
is from Abilene.
Yeah.
The former baseball player.
Yeah.
Now, do you know when Shotwell Stadium opened?
It's been a long time, I would think. 40s,
1959.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's when the first game was played there. I have a challenge for your man, Cub Patton. You're not going to give him the ability to break this record. But did you know the longest recorded field goal at any level of football was made at Shotwell Stadium in 1976?
Really?
This
How
is true.
long was that?
Any guesses?
I mean,
Now, I looked up to compare it to the NFL. Justin Tucker made a 66-yarder. I think that's the longest field goal in NFL history. But this is longer, so it's obviously longer
Yeah,
than 66.
I would have said like 70.
69 yards.
That is
and I don't
crazy.
know if it was wind dated. I couldn't find anything there. But yeah, 1976, a guy named Ove Johansson, I'm going to go with. He was a Swedish-born place kicker. He kicks one for ACU, and they beat East Texas State. But
Hey,
69
if the
yards.
wind is blowing like it was the other night, we might give Cub that shot.
Let Cub just get it up in the air, man, and let West Texas
Absolutely.
take it on through the uprights, right?
Absolutely.
So I thought that was kind of fun because I'm like, okay, is this right?
Man, that's crazy.
And I tried to, but I didn't know if you would know
Nope,
that or not.
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, it'd be something fun to, we'll talk about that when
Cubs, Cub's going to try to talk me into that now.
That's right.
I can always feel him. Anyway, we're near the
What
finish.
is his range?
It depends. We
mean,
try
I
to get
know-
that in pregame.
Okay.
Try to get a feel for
And
it.
obviously
but
the weather factors in and
Yeah.
stuff. Does grass or turf matter for
Nah.
his? Okay.
I don't know. We've played on grass though, and
Yeah, you're probably not going to see
Years.
that much. That's a good point.
but we trotted him out there for a 53-yarder at the end of the half, and there was no thought about not doing that.
And he just mishit it a little
Yeah,
bit.
he did. He wanted it back, but it still almost got there, and
It
there was
sure
no
did.
wind at that point. So anyway, in practice we've hit him. A lot of times we practice some situations and scenarios like a long kick that the other team might try to return, or vice versa that we might, and we've put him out there to kick like 63-yarder, and he made one day. And last week I think he missed it just to the left, but it was long enough from about 63, 64 yards. So.
I mean, we sitting there talking about him in the game last year, and it wasn't had anything to do with his field goal kicking. It was him as a punter.
Yep.
Was a weapon. Do you ever eat at Taco Bueno? You're familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar, but nah.
That started in Abilene too. I didn't know that either. ACU grad. Yeah. I mean, the more you know, people. We're here to just entertain, educate,
food,
all that stuff.
We got you on food.
That's right. That's right.
There's a Mexican food place right there behind. It's behind a convenience store. You got to go look for it. I wish I knew the name of it. It starts with an M, I think. But
If you're
it's
watching
solid
this,
too.
we need the input.
Yeah, it's solid right there close to the campus. So.
Okay. Again, won't be easy. Should be fun though. A lot on the line for as much as can be on the line in a early to mid October type game, but it should be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think I'm excited to see. Abilene will have a big crowd, and I know our fans are going to travel too, so it'll be fun.
There we go. We will have 100.7 The Score. We will also be broadcasting this on the LCISD YouTube channel. Tommy Wood, myself, Chip's dad, Chuck Darden, the Hall of Famer, Taylor Peters be on the sidelines. We'll have it all covered, so you can watch it, you can listen, you can do both, whatever you want to do. We will try to bring all that to you. And if I repeat the long field goal story, act like you've never heard that before, because I may get into that Friday night. But enjoyed it, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
There he is. That's been another edition of Pirate Talk.